One of the first things that goes wrong with these National Geographic tumblers, this only applies to the Pro and the higher end 3-pound Pro. They have sealed machine bearings in them, which is the exact same bearing that comes out of skateboard wheels, scooter wheels like these. If you spill any type of liquid out of here, if your canister leaks, they'll leak down on these and get into the bearings and can actually cause the bearings to go bad. It'll get water inside them and break them down a lot faster, especially when it gets the broken down compounds of the grit in it. It'll just wear the bearings out super fast. They're easy to replace with these. Not much to it aside from taking these tops off. I'm going to take these apart and show you what's inside and how to replace the bearings on them. There's really not a whole lot to go wrong with these aside from the motor wearing out with time. Everything else you can sort of maintain with them. So if you look, this piece here comes off. You just set both sections to the side, and there's a bearing that just rests inside of this, so you can lift it up and out with it. You look, there's just a little bearing that hops off the side there. You can just clean around these pieces on each side and replace this bearing. They slowly secrete the grease out of the sides of them. You can wipe them down, and you can take the covers off, take them out, put them in something like mineral spirits and clean them out. But if they've gotten contaminated with liquid on them, they're probably going to have issues. So they're really cheap to buy. I'll put the links to them below. You can buy them at Amazon or quite a few other places. But if you have like some old wheels around, something like these scooter wheels, they use the same bearing as a skateboard wheel, and you can just pop those out. Like this. You can see it's the same bearing size. So this will slip on and it just sets right down in here. And sort of hard to see that, but it'll just rest in there. Just wipe everything out really good before you change them out, and you won't have any bumping and grinding around with it. But there's a few different types of these bearings. Even though the dimensions, the inner portion and the outside are the same as a skateboard wheel, the bearings can be different. So the bearing size that you'll need is a 608Z or ZZ. They're listed as 608 is the size of the bearing. That gives you the sizing of the inner diameter and the exterior diameter of it. But you also see these Z ratings on there. A 608 is a bearing like this that's just open on both sides. It won't have a cover on it like this one does. If you go to buy the bearings and it says it's a 608Z, majority of the time it just has a cap on one side. It protects the outer portion of it. 608ZZ has a cover on both sides of it. And then there's also a 608 RS, which has a plastic coating on here, and they're actually sealed better, but there's a lot more drag on them. So with these, they don't get contaminated as much as, like, say, out on the skateboard, riding around and getting it wet, that sort of thing. So you're better off with the 608ZZ, which will have a cover on both sides of it, and skip the RS version of it. The ones that come with it is a ABEC rated 7. So you'll see capital letters A, B, E, C, and then a ratings behind it. It's usually 3, 5, 7, and 9. The ones that come in here are an ABEC 7, but they're a cheap quality ABEC 7. So a lot of times if you get a higher quality ABEC 5, it'll be a smoother precision feel to it. It won't be as gritty feeling. So the ABEC rating is the only difference between the 3, 4, 5, 3, 7, 5, and 9 is how precision they are. Tighter tolerances, and they tend to, the 9s just come with oil in them for least resistance. That's what inline skaters use to have faster wheels on them. It's just one more way they can cut down on the resistance on it. But if you can find a good quality ABEC 7 rated 608ZZ bearing, that's what you'll need to fit in here. And just periodically take these out for maintenance of your old bearings, even if they're not really going bad. Once every few months or so, it's good to pull these out and just wipe the extra grease off of them and make sure there's no buildup on the sides of the bearings on them. It can just attract dust and gradually get grit into the bearing. They'll wear out faster. But if you put these in your hand and feel them and it's still smooth, you can just mount them back in there. But if it's starting to feel really rough and gritty, it's worth go ahead and ordering a set of 4 of these. That's all you'll need to replace 2 here and the 2 back here on it, and that'll keep it good and smooth and quiet. And just take it on the spindle and slide it back on there. It just drops back into place, and screw these on each side. Tighten them down all the way, and you're good to go. It makes a difference in how quiet it is. So if that helps anybody, please like and subscribe. You can see the link to the bearings below to make sure you get the right ones that'll fit this one. I'll have those in the text below and also in the first comment on there to take a look. So appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, just ask me in the comments and I'll try to answer anything I can. Thanks a lot.